We are here, NBA Picks and Props, coming to you on a Thursday evening. It is finals time. We are into the NBA Finals, 2021 Finals, unbelievably already. One game into this, Suns lead the series 1-0 over the Bucks. We got a lot to talk about around the finals because we know a lot of you people out there want to make sure you bet the right way. If you bet the wrong way, just don't blame us. Let me bring in my crew rocking with me today. First of all, my man who I know is excited as much as I am about the upcoming season of Succession. We just got the trailer. Jarod Hector. Jarod, please tell the people what you texted me yesterday about the only thing that matters about season 3 of Succession.
Listen, of course, we love the Roy family. Right? We're going to have a good time watching Shiv and the boys battle for control of the company. But man, listen, Sanaa Lathan will be a guest on this season of Succession, and we cannot wait because who doesn't love Sanaa Lathan? It's going to be dope.
Who does not love Sanaa?
And then, you know, I got an idea for a show topic for us when we do our other show after this, based on the conversation we had to start this podcast behind the scenes. But we'll get to that another time.
We'll get to that another time. But yes, I'm here for Sanaa Lathan. We all should be here for Sanaa Lathan. Next up, my man Jamal Murphy, who obviously does a lot of stuff with the college sports. And Murph, you got to be excited about these kids now being able to profit off the name, image, and likeness. The kids can actually make some money. We still need the schools to pay them, but the kids can make some money.
Yeah, you know, it's exciting. They have an opportunity to make some money from somewhere. It's just at the moment, it's the wild, wild west. And what made me, you know, I'm all for it. Don't get me wrong. But what scared me a little bit the other day, you know, I'm on Twitter, and who do I see talking about this stuff? Barstool cats. You know what I'm saying? We're going to send you merch. Now all of a sudden I'm seeing Barstool athletes. I'm like, oh no, where are we going with this?
What did they look like? Did these athletes promoting Barstool look like us?
Yes, a couple of them, yes. You know, you know, these kids just want free merch. So that, you know, some kids just want free merch, like, you know, not the stars or anything, but they're going to be pushing this to everybody and getting all this free advertising. So, you know, we got some things to think about.
Yeah, definitely. We got some things to think about. Last but not least, my man, Bryan Fonseca, the other half of the Ain't Hard to Tell podcast. Bryan, I just have one question for you. How do you feel about people not necessarily doing journalism the right way?
What I will say about the kids in regards to that. No, there's a tie-in. Because like in other cases, journalistically, these kids, I don't think are doing their research on what Barstool actually is. They don't care.
Well done there.
Or they don't care.
Very good answer. Very well done there. Great job of tying it all in. I love it there. By the way, Bryan, we have to ask you, since you're the youngest person on the show, are you aware of the fineness of Sanaa Lathan?
I am aware. I will also note this. The level of excitement you have for Sanaa Lathan being on that show reminds me of when I heard Rosario Dawson was going to be in the 2K storyline a couple years ago. So
I love her too.
I love it. Yes.
You know, like we're on the same page.
Thank you, Murph. Let's just understand they are in that same class, that same group. We love Rosario Dawson too.
I roll Rosario Dawson.
Except I'm not going as far as our producer Greg talking about Rosario Dawson over Sanaa Lathan.
See, Greg. Greg, why you wilding, man? Why you wilding, Greg? Come on, son. Damn.
Greg, we love you. We love you, man. We love you, man. We still love you.
4 exclamations.
I know he wilding down.
All right, guys. We're here. The finals are here. Like I said, game 1 victory by the Suns that we saw. Huge game 2 tonight for the Bucks. We'll see if they can adjust. So following the Suns winning game 1 and the return of Giannis to play, can the Bucks make the necessary adjustments to get a victory in game 2, or will Mike Budenholzer be Mike Budenholzer and let the Suns take a 2-0 lead? So when I ask you guys, how are you betting on this game 2 tonight, and how much influence does what happened in game 1 impact how you might bet game 2? Murph, I'm going to start with you on this first. Are you betting the Bucks here, or are the Suns taking a commanding lead?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Bucks. You know how these game 1s everybody talking about the series is over. Whoever wins the first game, and don't let it be by like 10 points or more. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody's gonna be like, "Oh, the series is over. I told you, Phoenix is the best team, and Milwaukee can't play with them." And so I didn't honestly. I watched about half of the first game I watched the second half on tape. I wasn't present for the first game. But I'm not sweating it. I mean, I think it's a good sign that Giannis came back. He put up decent numbers. It was funny how everybody was saying, "Oh, Giannis is, he's basically fully back." But when you look at it, he was definitely playing a little hesitant out there. 20 points, and he had decent, pretty good numbers, but not for him really. I mean, 20 points for him is kind of an off game. So I think, hopefully we see Giannis get better as these games move on. So this second game, I think, Milwaukee makes it I wouldn't be surprised even if Phoenix wins. Don't get me wrong, but if I'm going to bet on it, I'm going to take Milwaukee plus 4.5. I would, obviously I wouldn't be surprised if Milwaukee comes back and wins this game, but at the very least makes it a very close game. I think this is a real series. I think Milwaukee, me, I'd love to get on Drew Holiday. And actually, they're trying to shut me up a little bit, especially at the end of the last series against Atlanta. They have stepped up, have been a little bit more consistent. So I expect Milwaukee to come back strong in the second game.
All right, expect them. The line there is the Suns. They are the favorites, 4.5-point favorites here, over under 220.5, in case you were wondering. Bryan, you and I, we spoke about this recently on the podcast. Murph kind of brought it up. People overreact to these game ones all the time. We've seen it happen throughout history in NBA playoffs. How are you betting this game? Are you believing in the Bucks coming back as well?
Yeah, game ones usually don't make me sweat a ton. That's where all the weird shit happens. I famously remember the Thunder taking it to the Miami Heat in game one of their NBA finals many years ago.
Why you gotta bring up old stuff, man?
And then because I remember a lot of people thought from there,
but
shit.
You know that hits Jarod a little different.
Yeah, man, why you gotta bring up old stuff, man?
No, but it was interesting because that was at the time where LeBron was obviously full heel, starting to really embrace it. And a lot of people was like, "Oh, look, he's going to lose in the finals again," because he hadn't won a championship at that point. And they ended up winning the next 4 games. I don't think that's going to happen here. I'd still lean toward the Suns actually winning the series, but I don't think they're going up 2-0 on the road. I would tend to lean Milwaukee here, and I think that they're going to even, going back to Milwaukee, have this tied up at 1-1. But we'll see. We'll see ultimately what happens, because I also wouldn't be shocked if the Suns just went up 1-0 and 2-0. And if the Suns were to sweep them, then there might not be another picks and props. So y'all better hope, if you like this shit, that the Suns don't sweep these dudes. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, Bryan, we'll get to that later about how likely you think a sweep might be if they go up 2-0. That will be interesting. All right, but you're going with the Bucks to even it up tonight as well. Jarod, what about you? I know how excited you've been about the Bucks offense, particularly your boys Drew Holiday and Khris Middleton. You've been so excited.
Every game he's in the group chat. Yo, I hate the Bucks offense. And I'm looking at this shit. I'm like, yo, me too, kind of though.
It's just so wild because, and it's funny because Murph says this all the time. It's like, and I've been going back and forth, and it's like Drew Holiday and Khris Middleton are properly rated, right? They are rated exactly where they belong in this league. Like, Khris Middleton is, an all-star borderline. Drew Holiday in the West, kind of a borderline all-star. Same in the East. Like, it's the consistency. That's what you miss from those guys. Yeah, one game, they both got 30, 25. You're like, damn, this is why they're so good. Next game, not so much. And the great players in this league, and it's not a knock on those two, but that's why LeBron, James Harden, KD, Steph, that's why them guys are who they are, and these guys are who they are, right? It's consistency. And that's what you don't see from the Bucks. But I will say in this game, I don't think it'll be a double-digit blowout again. I think the Bucks will definitely keep it close. It's all going to be about referees to me in this game. The Suns went to the free throw line 26 times in game one. The Bucks went twice. And we all know the Bucks, they pride themselves on defense without fouling, right? And they got called for a lot of fouls. What's the whistle going to be like in game two? If the refs let them play, it's maybe something different. We shall see. But for me, I would not be surprised if it's 1-1. But I also, as Bryan said, if the Suns go up 2-0, that wouldn't shock me either, just because Milwaukee has shown in this entire postseason their inability to recognize the urgency of moments, right? Like, when Giannis went out, they could have came out the next game and been like, all right, forget that. We stepping on their throats now. They didn't, right? And had to play an extra game unnecessarily. And on the Giannis point, look, as Murph said, yeah, his box scores look good. But if you watch the game, this dude still has a hyperextended knee. Didn't look great. There were numerous times where the Bucks got to stop and he got the ball to go out and transition like he normally does and race down the court and dunk. Nah, he was going slow and jogging. You know what that means? That's because he don't got the explosiveness to push off on that knee. And again, you have a knee injury, playing playoff basketball isn't going to get you better over time, right? It's only going to get worse. It's not going to get better. It'll get better when he stops playing and rests for the offseason.
Yeah, so a good amount of us, we like the Bucks. I like the Bucks here to bounce back to tonight, even though I'm not confident in their coach, Mike Budenholzer, to be completely honest. However, I think Giannis may be a little bit more comfortable. I do agree with your point, Jarod, that his knee is not going to get any better here, but hopefully he just feels more comfortable in the court, a little bit more explosive in transition than we saw in the first game. So I think that could be a factor here. I don't know if I'm as confident to just bet outright the Bucks here. But I do like this to be a close game. I could see that. So with Phoenix, getting the 4.5 points there, I could see this being a close game and the Bucks winning. I would definitely lean towards the Bucks here. Also, you got to think, all right, didn't have great games from Middleton or Holiday. They've got to bounce back tonight. Maybe they do. That bodes well for the Bucks, and they figure some things out. Which you know what that means, Jarod. The next game, you ain't gonna see them dudes do nothing. That's probably what's gonna happen there. But I like going with the Bucks. However, while we might go with the Bucks tonight, 57% of the bets in terms of the spread is on the Suns. So a lot of people rocking with the Suns here. A lot of people like the Suns in this Game 2 matchup. We'll see. Now,
but it's like Bryan said, though, right? Like game ones, and like Murph was saying, everybody gets amped, and the public gets amped off of game one. Double-digit win. They gonna kill them dudes. It's like, not necessarily. Look, as much as I think Phoenix is gonna win this series, I don't think it's gonna be a sweep. Like the Bucks can easily win this series. Like they're in the NBA Finals for a reason. They are good enough to win the championship, right? That can happen. That is a possibility. I just happen to like how the Suns do things a little bit better. So that's why I'm favoring them. But if the Bucks won this series, I wouldn't be like, oh, what a shock. Like, of course they can win it.
Right. And also to further that, even on the money line, 64% of the bets are on the Suns. So it seems like a lot of people may be having very quick reactions to game one once again. And then, who knows? The Bucks win game 2, and then we're looking at where the bets are being placed for game 3, and all the money is on the Bucks. So who knows?
That's exactly what will happen. If the Bucks win game 2, all of a sudden, everyone's like, oh, the Bucks are going to win the series. I guarantee.
I guarantee that's what's going to happen. And that's why if you could have got in on some of these early future bets that I've been seeing, like, well, what is the series going to be like after 3 games or 4 games? There's some stuff where there's some odds out for the Bucks being up 2-1 and different things after that. Some people may be looking to where things can switch in the series very quickly. As we all know, guys, could make some good money there. That might be a good thing to look at. And Phoenix has 68% of the series handle. So a lot of people in on Phoenix, but we'll see how
should have got in early like me.
See, Jarod's gonna ride that to the end of the season. And I told y'all so. I did
tell y'all.
I gotta say, before we move on,
yes,
Dex, I think your shirt is encouraging dudes on the street to harass females. That's all I'm gonna say.
No, you know what's funny, man? I never thought about how this shirt could be problematic in terms of toxic masculinity and street harassment. And now it's funny. I have yet to wear this shirt outside.
See, there you go.
He only wears it when we talk about like Ben Simmons or some shit. You know what I mean? Like,
because while everyone loves that saying, yes, it is true. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take, but there's some shots you don't need to be taken, right?
I agree. See, Jarod, I happen to agree with that. I'm all about, stepping outside your boundaries a bit. Now, we're not talking about harassing the women, just so we're clear. We're not talking about that. However, to Murph's point, on the streets, some people take this motto a little bit much to heart, right?
Too literal.
On the streets? Shit. On Instagram, bro. They right there in the comments. You know what I'm saying?
But them dudes are cowards because nothing can happen to them, right? Like there's no real consequences there like it is on the streets, you know? But I hear your point, Bryan. I hear you. I understand. Dudes shoot their shot all the time on IG. I'm just saying it's not really like the dudes out in the street. They live this motto on the shirt, and they're real aggressive about it, right? And just to bring it back to basketball, we've seen plenty of dudes in the NBA who live this motto and shouldn't be living this motto, right? Just shooting a little bit too much. But Jarod, to the other point, I'm with you. You got to know what league you in.
That's
you
right.
Can't be taking NBA shots when you're playing in the D League.
Got that right.
Can't be out here doing it. Now, Murph, the next time I wear this shirt, when I do wear this shirt outside, and I see brothers being like, yo, man, I like that shirt. I'll be like,
It's also understanding your range, right? It's like in the pick and roll. There's a reason why dudes fight over the top of the screen when they got dudes like Steph Curry and Damian Lillard in the handle, because they know them dudes will pull up from 40 and hit that joint. You know, other guys like Ben Simmons, I ain't worried about that.
Yeah, some dudes we say, that's not your shot.
Well, look, man, the other thing is out here in these streets or in life and anything, you can't be out here doing the Ben Simmons and passing up open layups. Like, I'm not about that life. Like, you can't be doing that.
If you got an easy layup, you got to take it.
Can't be doing that at all. Now I'm being conscious about wearing this shirt, even though it doesn't reflect me. But thank you, Murph. You gave me something to think about the next time I decide to wear this out on the streets for sure. All right, moving on. We're going to look at betting on the NBA Finals. There's some interesting player props for Game 2 and just some future bets for the Finals. So I'm going to throw some at the guys, and the guys, if they found some as well, too, that they think are really interesting and great, please share. If you're watching, you got some great future bets or player props for Game 2, share them with us. Ask us what we think. We will tell you what we think about those bets and whether you should put some money down or not. So I'm going to start off with some that I found. Let's start with some player props for tonight's game. Chris Paul over 2.5 steals, plus 135, right? Now, Chris Paul hasn't been picking the pockets the way he used to back in the day, and understandably so. He's 36. But every now and then, he has a 3-steal game. It'll sneak up out of there, right? He's averaged 1.4 steals for the season, 1.3 for the postseason. So getting over 2, it's not very likely, which is why the odds are plus 135, right? But he does average, if this wants to give you hope, 2 steals for his postseason career. So, Jarod, you're making a lot of noise over there. Would you get in on this action, putting a little bit of money down? All you got to do is put down 100 to win 135 here.
Yeah.
Would you get in on this?
My odds aren't great. I don't love it. And a lot of these player prop odds, you're not getting a lot of great numbers, right? Plus 135 in terms of your value. But Chris, look, he's going to do that. And the reason why I say you might want to go ahead and throw some money on it is because he'll find himself switched into a lot of cross matches in this game, right? Because after Game 1, what the Bucks are going to try to do is really go at Chris on the defensive end, right? So they're going to feel like, look, man, we got to wear him down defensively and come at him offensively and come at him when he's got the ball so that he's not just walking into that mid-range feeling like life is sweet. Now, here's the thing. You get switched onto someone like Khris Middleton. You're like, oh, Khris Middleton's 6'8", 6'7". He's got size, all that strength. Yeah, but Chris has got them quick hands, and we saw it in Game 1. You hold that ball at chest or waist level, that is a gimme. Chris has got that with them quick hands. So I might just go ahead and throw it on there for a plus 135, because on a lot of these bets for the game specifically, you're not going to get a lot of plus 6, plus 7, plus 800 kind of odds on things you think are actually possible. So I'd go with it.
Yep, agreed on that. Not going to see some of those high odds there, but this might be one you want to get into. Bryan, I know you love aggression and defense. Are you riding with Chris Paul to get 2.5 steals? And not to punch people in the face and get 2.5 steals, but to get, not to steal on somebody, but to get some steals. Are you rocking with this prop bet here?
I don't like the odds because they're so low, but I think he's going to do it. So I would just take the bet because I'll still get something out of it, right? Like, you're asking for 3 steals, and of all the player odds or player props rather that we're about to talk about, this to me is probably the safest bet. if he only has 2 steals with like 21 seconds left, I'm gonna be fucking sweating and I'm gonna be pissed. You know what I mean? Especially if the game's not even that close and they're about to sub him out. But I think he can get 3 because Drew Holiday has been, very inconsistent and a little bit turnover prone at times during the playoffs so far this year. So I think that Chris Paul, as great he's been offensively, we still have to talk about his defense because he's still defending guys at a high level as a point guard in his mid to late 30s. So I have him going to get 3 steals at plus 135, even though, it's not a lot of money, but I think it'll be a win regardless.
All right, you're in on this. Murph, what about you? Are you in on this as well?
No, I'm going to pass on this one. Like Bryan said, the odds, just aren't good enough for me to want to jump there. Those statistics that our producer put out there very, very scary as far as this bet is concerned. I mean, that 1.4 for the season, something like that. He had 1 steal last game. I know it seems like every few games he has 3 steals. I'm just not willing to bet it's going to be game 2, coming off a win where Milwaukee really needs one.
So, Murph, I just want to be clear here. You are not living by the motto of this shirt. You are not going to take a shot on this bet.
Well, I've always been kind of conservative, and I like to take good shots. You know what I'm saying? So, no, I'm going to pass on that one.
Okay, gonna pass on this one. I would have to say I'm going to pass on this one too. The averages just scare me. It's too low. You're asking for a lot. Although, Jarod, I can see your logic here in the fact that they will try to hunt him defensively. And he can still be aggressive, maybe get something in the passing lanes. I think the worst thing that could happen here for somebody is that Chris Paul gets like 2 quick steals in the first quarter, and then you're like praying the whole game. And like Bryan said, he gets subbed out with 21 seconds, and you get nothing. That's what nobody wants. I'm not going to bank on him at this age getting 3 steals. I think that is a lot. Could it happen? Yeah, the odds are not great. This is a stay away from me.
The other thing I'll say about Chris Paul, remember, guys, he's only played in 4 games over the last however many days, because he had to sit out because of the health and safety protocols, and they swept Denver. Your man he's the healthiest he's been at this stage of the playoffs in his entire career, and he's got less playoff miles on his legs this playoff run than anybody in this series. So that's a good sign for Phoenix.
Knock on wood, Jarod.
I know. Like jinxed them now. Like knock on everything. No problems with Chris.
Man, I swear if some injury happens, which I'm not risking on Chris Paul tonight, we are going to look at what Jarod said here and blame it on him. We'll just
Come on, man.
We'll blame it on him. All right. Next player prop I got for you, game prop for tonight. Devin Booker to record a double-double. You guys wanted some high odds. Here you go. Plus 650 for this one. Bryan, you wanted the high odds. I'm going to start with you. Would you put some money on this? Devin Booker getting a double-double tonight against Milwaukee.
A double-double? I mean, I like
you got
the
your odds, man. I gave you some good odds.
I like the odds at plus 650, but there are some other things that I'm probably going to do with my money as I look at my Keep It 100, ballot, I guess, for the evening, that I'm probably going to steer clear from this. The Chris Paul bet might not even make it here because I got a lot of shit going on. Devin Booker, I just don't like a double-double is a big ask. And there are guys, there are stars. We used to see this with Dirk Nowitzki all the time. During the regular season, he'd give you 25 and 8. And then in the playoffs, all of a sudden, he has a 30 and 15 game because he's just getting after it and getting those boards and things of that nature. Not a perfect comparison in terms of player or style, but Devin Booker has had, some big rebounding games in the playoffs. And you could also look at his assists, although, I don't think he's going to necessarily get 10 assists with Chris Paul next to him. I mean, we'll see. I'm not putting my money on this one, though, because I just don't think he's going to do it necessarily. No disrespect.
No disrespect. Not taking a shot here. You guys are not living by the motto of the shirt. Do not like it. Murph, what about you? Would you take a flyer on this one with the odds being that high, plus 650?
No, I'm going to stay my conservative and respectful self. And yeah, I mean, he's the last double-double he had, I think it was that triple-double, which game 1 against the Clippers. I mean, it's not really his game. So I'm going to stay away from it. And again, I look at where we are in the series. I would be more apt to take this kind of bet if Phoenix needed to win the game, like if they were down 2-1 or something, and he felt he just had to have a great game and came out there and did it. But under these circumstances where I think it's the other team that's going to come out really, really aggressive and try to stop him because he had a good game in the first game, I think I'm going to pass on this and maybe later in the series look at it. Okay.
Passing on this one as well. Jarod, what about you? Getting in on this action?
Look, man, I like Book a lot. And, he's from that Kobe Bryant Mamba mentality school of thought. So, he going to be out here doing Lord knows what. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, he is from that Mamba, but like not in the way that people on the street talk about Mamba mentality, in the right ways. But my challenge with him is that it's either going to have to be rebounds or assists. And Booker is not, he's a very willing passer. And he's actually pretty decent, but 10 assists is a lot to ask for him. And then boards, how often is he going to be in the fray defensively to get, boards when you got Ayton already gobbling up everything down there? So I like the odds at plus 650, but the chances of it happening, I mean, he's had one double-double this entire season. I'm going to go ahead and go nah on that, man. Pass.
Yeah, one double-double during the regular season, 3 double-doubles during the postseason, including 1 triple-double that Murph mentioned, game 1 against the Clippers. Yeah, this is a no for me. Like the odds, put down 100 to get 650, but nah, I just can't see him do it. And I think I'm glad you brought up that point, Jarod. You're worrying about what are you banking on here? Mm-hmm. Assists or rebounds? Not going to bank on the assists because of exactly what Bryan said, in which that he's playing with Chris Paul. So I think he's not getting assists. If he gets over 5, that's a win in this game. And you're banking on him to get 10 boards when you've got some really good rebounders out there in Giannis and DeAndre Ayton that clean up on the glass. I don't like this. I'm out on this one. So we're not taking a shot on this. So I guess I'm not following the motto of the show.
Sorry, Devin Booker.
It is what it is. What it is. All right, this one was tailor-made for Jarod, I feel. If he believes in this, Khris Middleton to score 30+ points, plus 210. Jarod laughing already since you love the Bucks offense so much. We'll start with you. Are you gonna get in on your boy Khris Middleton to bounce back tonight in this game?
I don't know what it is about Middleton, man. I'll be like, I can't quite put my finger on him.
It's his face. I'm telling you, I've been saying this. It's his face. It's his fucking face.
I gotta jump in there. My son has been very involved in these playoffs for the first time ever. He's like watching every game, and he called Middleton "derpy face." And I'm like, I was like, what do you now he feels bad. Now he doesn't. He's like, oh no, I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it like that. I'm like, wow, is it really like that?
Listen, from the mouths of babes, Murph, as you know, is one thing children are at that age is honest. They don't hold nothing back. They just let it out. This is what they feel and what they believe, right? Yeah, you're right. It might just be that, Bryan. I mean, but look, all jokes aside, Middleton is an excellent player, right? Like you watched him in that Atlanta series, and I hate doing player comparisons, right? But the problem is he's a wing player, right? And so when you think of wings, you think of, all the great wings, LeBron, KD, all these guys, Paul George, Kawhi, and you're like, okay, he ain't them. And that's, it's fair because those guys are elite, but he's pretty good, man. Get his own shot, can score at all 3 levels. He's really, really good. And he is due for a breakout game. So, at plus 210, why not? Because 30 points for him, he can get that on 14 shots. It's not like he needs a lot of shots to get 30. And we've seen him, he heated up in that third quarter. I think he hit 6 or 7 in a row. It's like, damn. He can do that, right? So it's not bad. I think for plus 210, it's worth it because they're going to need a lot of offense from him in this series in general.
Interesting. Look at that. Can't believe it. Jarod believing in the Bucks offense.
It's more like I'm believing in Khris Middleton than I am in the Bucks as a whole.
You got to start somewhere, right? You got to start somewhere. Murph, how about you? Are you getting in on the Khris Middleton, action? Just don't tell your son about it because he might clown you for this one.
No, my son takes it back. He felt very bad making fun of a player. But I think, just for the sake that I want to take a shot, you know what I'm saying? I want to take a shot somewhere on these prop bets. I'm going to go ahead and take this one at plus 210. Middleton, he had 29 last game. So I'm kind of scared to be like, oh, he's due for a good game because he kind of had one last game to some extent. But I think I really like the way he's been playing over the last 5-6 games or so. he's been showing up, more consistently, at least scoring wise. So why not take this one? Like I said before, talking about the other prop bets, Milwaukee feels like they need this game. They're going to want to come out and perform. He's going to want to come out and put some points on the board, take some pressure off of Giannis. So I think tonight's probably a good bet, especially with those plus 210 odds.
Yeah, tonight's spot might be a good one for that. Bryan, what about you? See you sitting there with your hand in your chin. We know if this was Bobby Portis, you would be all over this, but it is not. Bryan has left us. I guess he did not want to talk about that. I feel like it was Bobby Portis. He wants no parts of this.
He said I'm out on Khris Middleton.
I feel like if it was Bobby Portis and Jimmy Butler, he would have been
that'd have been easy.
All in on this. Before I get to Bryan, I'll say this. I think that what scares me about this prop bet is kind of what you mentioned, Murph. It's Middleton's been up and down, right? He'll have one good game and then he'll have a bad game. And so if you're going by that logic, this could be the bad game. However, I think it's clear that they need his offense, right? Because if we still do not trust that Giannis is 100%, and as Jarod alluded to earlier, can't be. It's not going to get any better in terms of his knee playing in the series. But they're going to need Middleton to step up. And so I think because of the urgency of the game in needing that I would say, yeah, I'll take a flyer on this. The odds are good enough at plus 210. Why not take a chance on this with Middleton trying to bounce back? Maybe he surprises us all. Maybe he finally has 2 good games in a row. Maybe, just maybe, Jarod starts believing in the Bucks offense after this. Maybe. But now, our guy Bryan Fonseca is back with us. He disappeared. And Bryan, I was saying that I felt like you might get in on this action if it was Bobby Portis, but we're not talking about Bobby Portis. We're talking about Khris Middleton. Would you put some money down on Khris Middleton getting 30-plus points tonight with the odds of plus 210?
Speaking of Bobby Portis,
why did I bring this up? Why did I do that?
His over-under for points tonight is like 6.5, I saw. And, that's mad low. I'm going over for that. As far as Khris Middleton goes, I mean, isn't this kind of tailor-made for him to finish with 28 points? Like, isn't this kind of like just set up for him to not get 30 and plus 210? If this was like plus 350, 400, I think I would do it. But, man, like I just feel like whenever I think he's going to go off, he kind of just stays in the middle. And whenever I think he's not going to have a great game, he kind of just stays in the middle.
It's his name. I think it's more than the face. Middleton. It's the name. It's Middleton, right? So it just makes you think middle. You just like, all right, right? You're like, middle. Yeah.
You say he's mid?
I ain't saying he's mid, but you just think like, Middleton. Yeah, he's And truth be told, right? Like what is he? He didn't make any of the All NBA teams this year, right? So
no.
He's what, top 30? All right, so. Middle, right? It's like that's better than middle, right? Because there's 450 players in the NBA. He's way better. He's way better than middle.
Yeah, he's way better than middle. But it's not. Those are not encouraging words for anybody that's thinking about taking this bet, Jarod. They're like, Middleton. Yeah, nah, I'm not gonna be in that. Want to give some love to DP. See you checking in. He said, "What up, boys? Crowder 2.5 3-pointers plus 100."
It's not enough.
On that.
Plus 100 is not enough. I mean, I think he'll do it, but plus 100, I mean, that's it. That's all we're gonna get.
I'll say this: I would like the odds to be more, but I would also say, well, Crowder didn't shoot the ball well.
Right, so he's due.
He's due. He had a horrible game in game 1. You would think he might, get a couple threes. He gets a lot of good open looks in that offense, particularly on the wings and the corners. So I would say I like it. I don't love the odds, but I like it. I can see Crowder giving you 3 threes tonight. I can totally see that. So I'd say, yeah, throw some dollars down on it. I wish the odds were better for you, DP, but definitely throw some dollars down on that one. What do you say on that one, Murph?
Yeah, I think, Crowder, he's going to give you at least a couple games, 2 or 3 games where he does that, where he gets you 3 threes. I just don't think it's going to be tonight because I think Milwaukee is going to play well and have a chance to win. But if you're leaning Phoenix in this game, I would go ahead and take that.
All right, if you're already feeling good about how Phoenix might come out and perform tonight, yeah, I can see you rocking with this. If they get if the crowd gets going, the role players on Phoenix feel comfortable. I mean, all the role players, Bridges, Crowder, those guys, they start hitting shots. Then, maybe things don't look great for Milwaukee. But, like I said, DP, this is a low risk, not great odds. You want to throw a couple dollars down on this? Wouldn't kill you for it. It seems like it's an okay bet. But I'm kind of leaning to like Murph. I'd expect Milwaukee to come out pretty aggressively on the defensive end. Bryan, we see you're back with us. What do you think about this prop bet here? Crowder, 2.5 3-pointers plus 100. You getting in on that?
I think this thunderstorm fucking fucked up my Wi-Fi for a little bit.
I figured that's what it might have been.
You know what I'm saying? I think that's what's going on. Sure. I mean, plus 100. I mean, I don't really know what you're getting out of that. You know what? I'm going to save that for my Keep It 100. I have another Crowder prop bet, but we're going to get to that later on.
It's going to be a fight. You know it's going to be violence. You know it's violence.
Is anyone worried or concerned as to what this might be?
I was going to say less. Say less.
And you know what? I want to put a bet. What's the odds?
Don't spoil it.
1 plus 1,000 that the opponent is Bobby Portis.
Oh, I mean, that's you ain't getting no.
The odds are too high on that.
Yeah, you ain't getting no odds on that. That's off the board because that's definitely what it's going to be. So
listen. I have a tweet ready to go for when that happens.
See, there you go. Right, dude, ready in drafts because these are like his favorite kind of players. Violent.
Don't get me wrong. I don't want no intra-squad fighting amongst Team Bryan. All Bryan team competitors, and they both might make it this year. They both have in the past. I think they're both actually repeat members. So, I mean, we'll see. Like, I saw Zach Lowe posted a story, I think it was today or yesterday, about Jae Crowder, whenever that was. And there were some details about how Jae Crowder and Jimmy Butler had very intense one-on-ones where the trash talk got very personal. And I do think that you need a dude like that in your locker room if you're going to get to the finals, as demonstrated by Jae Crowder these last 2 years.
Wow. Oh, man. I can't.
I know.
I can't wait for Keep It 100. Can't wait.
Look, I got stories about some of the trash talk I did when I was playing in high school and shit. And couple things I'm not necessarily proud of. I will say that. I was just telling. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to even step anywhere near that right now.
Yeah, I want to know who checked Bryan on this stuff back in high school. I want
nobody. That's why he'd be wild.
The head coach tried to at one point.
Yeah, you see that? Tried, right? Yo, Bryan ain't got no respect for no head coach. He's like, I ain't listening to that dude.
Well, in fairness to me, he was a pretty bad coach. All right, like because he got fired the year after. So,
and how do you know that coach was like he wouldn't fire you if he could? He might have wanted to fire you.
If you knew him, you knew where he was also the dean of students in the school, and I wasn't here for that shit. Like, yo, pick one or the other, yo.
Dean of students, and he like, wow.
We try to build a winning program, and you're out here being the dean and the coach. Get the fuck out of here, yo. We need a coach.
Wow.
Come on. Honestly.
Wow.
That's what I was thinking at the time. Now I would probably approach that differently.
I would hope so.
I hope so. Good to know. Growth is good. Moving on to some future bets that we have. Top series point scorer being Chris Paul, plus 900. Now, I would love to know, guys, how many people have actually jumped on this with these odds, because I saw these odds and they were still at plus 900 this morning. How many people were reactionaries to game one? Oh, Chris Paul, great game, over 30 points. Can he do this and lead the series in scoring? Can this happen? So it's really good odds on this. Could it happen? I guess.
I mean,
what do you think, Jarod?
I'll say, like, Chris, remember I mentioned the whole rest thing, right? He is weaponized more than I think he will ever be in this series. And our shout out to our coach Thorpe on True Hoop. He talked about this. He's like, Chris's best friends in the league are some of the league's most elite scorers, right? And he's like, I can envision a phone call with LeBron or one of these guys being like, look, man, this may be your only chance ever of being in an NBA Finals. Do not go down passing the ball to Jae Crowder and Mikal Bridges, right? Like, you got to empty them clips and just that, you say, I left it all out there, right? Don't have nothing left in the chamber. So, take that for what it's worth. I'm not saying it's a definite guarantee because, of course, you have Devin Booker on this team, but you see Chris being much more assertive offensively in game one, right? Now, the Bucks, of course, are going to try to do what they can to limit that going forward. We'll see. Plus 900 might be worth it as a flyer just because of the odds you're getting at plus 9.
Odds were getting +9, and now it looks like Murph has been affected by the thunderstorm. Bryan, would you get in on this? Chris Paul being the top point scorer in the series at +900?
If I did, it would be one of those where I just put down $5 or something like that. It wouldn't be like something where I put a good amount of money on it because I have a hard time seeing him outscore Devin Booker in the finals. I don't think he's going to score more than Giannis even. Giannis only took 11 shots in game one and still came up with 20 points because he's going to get to the line a million times. And even though he's not going to shoot great from the line all the time, he's going to just get enough points if we're talking about like just straight betting who's going to end up with the most points in the finals. And that's not Chris Paul's game. Like he's one of these dudes, we've been seeing him for years. You feel like he could average 25 if he wanted to play that style. And I'm grateful forever that he does not. I wish more point guards would try to play like him as opposed to trying to play like, some of these other dudes. No disrespect, but that's just a style of play I would prefer from my point guard. And I think that with Chris Paul, like, no, he's not going to like lead the series in scoring. So if I did take this, it will be a very, very minimal amount because the +900 is very, I don't think we've said this word yet in the broadcast, tantalizing. But I'm going to say that I'm going to stay away from it just because I just don't actually see it happening. But it'd be nice if it did.
Yeah, nice if it did. One of those ones you might want to throw some dollars at. Murph, what about you? I don't know if the rain is coming down hard in Bed-Stuy. Probably is. Makes me feel like it's probably coming. It is probably coming.
What's going on, man? Today it's a rough one.
Yeah, probably coming my way soon. What do you think about this bet? As Chris Paul being the top series point scorer, +900, is this something you would throw some money at, or are you going to be like Bryan and be light in the pants on this one?
If you're gonna force me to be light in the pants, yeah, I'm gonna pass on this. The odds are great, so I agree with Bryan. You could put a couple $dollars here or there, but I wouldn't do anything serious with this. I think it's another one of those overreactions to the first game. He gets 32. He's not going to do that every night. We can calm down, but +900. If you're a Chris Paul fan and you want to see him, not only get his first ring, but you want to see him get Finals MVP and lead the team in scoring, and take a definite spot in that top 5 all-time point guards. You might as well put some money on it just for fun.
Yeah, I say why not? I'm with Bryan. Throw a couple dollars on this. Why not? Because the odds are just so good, and the odds are only going to get lower if Chris Paul has another 25+ point game tonight. So why not throw a couple of dollars? He might still be in the mix for a couple more games among the scoring leaders in this series. It can't hurt. +900. Why not? I just wouldn't go crazy on it and throw a bunch of money on this because I do agree with Bryan on that it's probably unlikely because there's just some better flat-out scorers in this series anyway. Got another fan one. Mill Bucks 2. You're a Bucks fan. Giannis like the over 27.5.
Yes.
I'm assuming is that points or is that points and rebounds?
It's got to be points.
It's got to be points. I'm thinking so. What you like that, Bryan?
Yes, 27.5. I feel like maybe he's due is not the proper way to say it because he's been out for a couple games. But I think if the Bucks are going to win this game, and I do have them winning this game, I just think it's going to be one of those games that Giannis does have like a 30 and 14 or something like that. He'll be a little bit more removed from the knee injury, although I don't think he's going to be 100% for the rest of the series. I do think that he's still going to have his 30-point games, even if it's not going to look stylistically just pretty because a lot of it's going to be coming from the free throw line, so that'll require him to be good from there. I do see him having a big game tonight and the Bucks winning, so I like the over for 27.5.
Now, there has been some concern on the injury front, and Jarod, you've brought this up as well, too, with Giannis. With your concern and how he looked in game one, does that concern you or stop you from possibly taking this prop bet here?
I mean, the injury does have me concerned, but it's right, and it's only 24 hours in between. This isn't games 3 through 6 where there's 2 games off in between. It's only 1 day off in between. And y'all know you got something going on. That leg that knee's gonna swell. Like it definitely was swollen yesterday. I don't care what the Bucks say. That knee was swollen yesterday, right? All right. How's it looking today? We'll find out. And with the odds, I think I just looked it up for 27.5 is -115. I'm good, man.
Yeah, -115.
A fine place where you could get at least +115.
Right. Like I'm good. Like it's just that. No.
Yeah. Murph, you in on this at all, or does the injury concern you? And you're welcome, Millbucks. Appreciate you for sending that in.
Well, with the odds like that, I think I'm guessing the question is, if you want to bet on it, do you take the over or the under?
Mm-hmm.
At minus 115. If I had to bet on it, I would take the over. Like I was saying earlier on, he looked okay. He was playing tentatively. He had 20 points. I think he comes back. I would assume his knee will probably be the same as it was the first game, and maybe his knee is feeling better than he thought, because he actually had a better second half than first half. So he was much more tentative in the first half. So the logic goes that he'll be even more confident on it from the start in game 2, and maybe attack more. And if he had 20 points in that first game, not even being sure on it. If he's more sure now, there's a good chance he'll get you 28 points. So I'll go ahead. If I had to pick between over or under, I would take the over.
All right, taking it over. Minus 115s was the odds on that prop bet. All right, back to some future stuff. Series correct score. This is one I talked to you guys about. The series correct score after 3 games. Bucks leading 2-1. Odds on this are plus 375. So what you're basically betting on here are the Bucks to win the next 2 games. Bryan, how are you feeling about this? The Bucks, following the game 1 loss, getting hot, winning 2 in a row, leading 2-1 after 3 games. Are you getting in on this action?
I mean, I have Phoenix winning in 7, and I think in getting there, I could totally see this happening, because I have Milwaukee winning tonight, and I would think that they're going to win in game 3. Now, trusting Milwaukee, not easy. We've talked about that throughout the playoffs. You know what I mean? Putting money on them, probably not the smartest thing to do sometimes, because, they've just Jarod put it succinctly earlier, and I'm going to bungle this, so I'm not even going to try to attempt it. I will say that the plus 375 gives me even more reason to do this, because I do like those odds as far as doing that. The big thing for me is whether or not they can win tonight, obviously, because if they don't win tonight, you don't have a chance of getting this bet. So I will take that and think that they're going to win their first game at home in the NBA Finals, which would be, I think, their first home finals game in 50 years. So I think the crowd will sort of power them through that.
Good points there. Okay. Interesting. Jarod, we know how much you believe in the Bucks and their offense. Come on, man. Throw some money down on this. This is tailor-made for you. It is screaming, take me, bet me. Follow the motto on the shirt. Let's go.
Well, really, it's more about the Bucks defense, right? Like, do the Bucks defensively have an answer for the Suns? If you look at how the Suns play, they seem to have a counter for everything the Bucks want to do, right? You want to play drop, we'll kill you with the mid-range. Right? You want to switch, we'll kill you in isolation, right? Like, they seem to have an answer for everything that Milwaukee wants to try. Again, this is betting on Milwaukee winning tonight, which, as much as I said, like, I could see it, I'm not 100% confident on that, right? I'm not even 70% confident on that, right? I just don't know. And then to go home then and be look, it could easily be 2-1 the other way, right? Phoenix wins tonight, they go up 2-0, then Milwaukee's like desperate. Go home game 3, they go blazes, right? They win by 30, right? It could be 2-1 the other way. I think I could see that so much more easily. So for that reason, I'm going to pass on that bet.
Passing on this, not taking a shot, lighting the pants. I see there. Murph, are you lighting the pants on this one? Or are you getting in on this action?
No, I'm heavy. I'm heavy in the pants. I'm going to go ahead and I like this just because of the odds, the plus 375. I think we all agree, we could see this game going either way. We wouldn't be surprised either way if Milwaukee won or if Phoenix won. So it all hinges on this game. I could definitely see if Milwaukee wins this game, you could definitely see them winning game 3. So I'm confident enough in Milwaukee. I'm picking them to at least cover in the second game of the series. I'm confident enough in them, and I'm not so high on Phoenix. That's part of it too. I'm not so high on Phoenix that I think that there's some juggernaut or something that this could happen. So I think at that plus 375, throw a few bucks on that. I would advise you to do that.
Yeah, I think this is a good bet. I don't think this is one of these sucker bets. You'll say to a degree that Chris Paul to lead the series in scoring. it's kind of a sucker bet, right? I kind of try to entice somebody to throw a bunch of money thinking they'll come up. This one, the odds are just nice enough that you might want to put even a decent amount of money. Not a lot. Maybe you want to throw $50 down on this. I think that's fine. I think it's a good move because I can see this happening. Totally. I like a lot of the logic you and Bryan brought up in the fact that if they win this game, which obviously this hinges upon, you could see them being amped, pumped. Bryan brings up a great point about the crowd, their first finals home game in whatever many years, pushing them to a victory. I could totally see that. It would add some drama. I actually would like to see this happen in the series. The Suns get down 2-1. The Suns in a position with Chris Paul, trying to bounce back. They haven't had much adversity here in the playoffs. So I would actually like to see this happen. Yeah, I'll throw a couple dollars down on this. I don't think this is a bad bet at all. It's not a sucker bet, like I said. And it could happen. It's reasonable that this absolutely could happen. So why not? And then, maybe this happens. And after game 3, we talked to Jarod, and Jarod is got Bucks pom-poms and a whole bunch of other stuff. And,
man, I ain't never going to be rocking no Bucks pom-poms. Why y'all got to make everything hard, man? Adversity, go through shit. Nah, man, I'm trying to get the 4 wins as easy as I possibly can. The hell I want to go through adversity for?
Well, I'm not saying they want. I'm not saying they want to, but I hear your point. All right, the last future bet I'm talking to you guys about: Suns to win game 2. So that's the Suns winning tonight, and the Bucks to win the series, plus 750. Really interesting, as Bryan would say, tantalizing odds. Also could help you maybe hedge a bet. If you've got the Suns, maybe the Suns winning the series. There's many different ways you can use this future bet, which I think is interesting if you're betting the series. Murph, I'll start with you because you just made the statement that, you're not super high on the Suns, right? And you could see the Bucks winning this series totally. So this bet can do this, but it also adds a drama of somebody coming back from a 2-0 deficit. If this was the Clippers, I'd be like, take this for sure.
Exactly.
Why not? Why not?
Yeah, we've seen more than this with the Clippers. That they lost 2 on the road, came back and won against Dallas. I think that because of the odds, again, the plus 750, this could happen. This could be a series that hinges heavily on the home court advantage, which has been the case for Milwaukee a lot in the playoffs. I mean, they're tough to beat at home. When just like Phoenix is very good at home, so is Milwaukee. So you could see them losing the first 2, then Milwaukee winning the next 2, and then it's a 2 out of 3 series. It's a 2 out of 3 series. So I could see that happening. And with those odds, especially if I take the other one I just took, I would put a little money on this one to hedge it.
Yeah, it's not a bad move, and part of the reason I chose this for us to discuss. It's not a bad move if you want to use this to hedge a bet. Jarod, what about you? Is this one you would get down on? Because this is another one. If you do this is saying that you believe in the Bucks.
But it's also a great hedge, right? If you listen to me and you picked the Suns to win it all a couple months ago at plus 1,200, this is a nice hedge for you right here, right? Okay, Suns go up 2-0, Bucks come back at plus 750. It's a nice hedge. So I'm going to take that. Because, again, for my own self, that's a hedge for me. So I win either way.
Right. I know. You look at that. Look at the smile. You like that.
Now, here's the thing I will say, too, about the Suns and just for the series. I still like them to win it. But, the Dario Saric injury is going to hurt a little bit more than I think people realize, right? You're Saric. You're like, whatever. Look, Saric plays key minutes for them. He's pretty good defensively, and he can knock down shots. You got to replace that with Frank Kaminsky minutes now. That ain't good, right? Kaminsky minutes, not good.
We saw what they did to Kaminsky in the first game.
Don't start giving me this Saric excuse, Jarod. Okay, don't forget about my guy Dante DiVincenzo.
Oh, listen, but they've been playing without Dante all postseason, so they know they're already ready for that.
I'm just playing.
I love anytime anybody supports White Dante. I love that.
The big ragu.
But I do think that's a good point, though, Jarod, because the Saric injury does matter to some degree. You saw it immediately in game 1 when Kaminsky was on the court. The Bucks, they just feasted. They just hunted him. They put him in pick and roll on, I think, 3 or 4 consecutive possessions where, Monty Williams had to be like, got to get him off the court. Got to get him up out of here. So, unless you believe in Frank Kaminsky.
Which means Ayton's got to play massive minutes now, right? And again, may not matter in game 1 or game 2, but if it goes long, it may matter come game 6 or game 7.
All right, Bryan, do you believe in Frank Kaminsky, your boy, to lead the Suns to a game 2 victory and the Bucks to win plus 750? You won the tantalizing odds. Here they are. What are you doing?
Didn't like Frank Kaminsky in college. Didn't think he was going to last in the league this long, if I'm being totally honest, but that's another discussion for another day. I don't think this is going to happen. However, and this is going to sound evil, and I'm going to knock on wood. This doesn't happen, but Chris Paul's had an interesting history in the playoffs when it comes to just the series getting late and just, things just fucking happening. You know what I mean? And if in that situation that were to happen, then you might actually win something on this bet.
What you trying to say? Chris Paul's a choker in the playoffs? Is that
No. I'm saying that, hamstring and this and that, like you just never really know.
Why are you putting that bad juju out there?
I knocked on wood already, and I'm hoping that it doesn't happen. But I'm just saying, for the purposes of this bet, and in these playoffs where anything can happen and pretty much anything has at this point to get us here, how could I say no to plus 750 in this situation, right? Even though I don't think the Bucks are going to win, would I be shocked? Right. I'm not betting my life that the Suns are going to win this finals. I'm not that convinced that they're going to win the whole thing. So sure, they could win game 2 against what I'm predicting for tonight, which, prediction's a prediction. Who gives a fuck? This isn't fucking First Take. And then when you go on to think about the series, like, could the Bucks really come down from 2-0? Like, yeah, of course they could. They're good enough to do that. And whatever happens with the Suns from there, I don't know. But look, plus 750 is plus 750. So I would put a little bit of money on this.
First Take. Them dudes are always wrong. and what makes it crazy is they always take opposite sides. So how you both always wrong?
Because the producer tells them, all right, you take this side, you take this side, and y'all be passionate about this shit. Right. And that's why I can't. I just with the debate shit.
I won't even bother asking Jarod if that's what he would like to do here, because Jarod, we not about these hot takes.
I'm not about this hot take life. Y'all know that. Man. We good.
Look, on this one, I feel like this is a really good bet, again, for anybody that wants to hedge, like Jarod said, especially if you, like Jarod, were in on this early, whether it was the Suns to reach the finals or win the finals. This is great for you to take if you want to hedge this bet. You're going to get good odds on there. And like Jarod said, if you did that, you're going to be a winner anyway. So it ain't going to hurt that bad. And worst case scenario is you come out, you start believing in the Bucks. You start drinking some of the Bucks Kool-Aid. Like, it can't be that bad. Look.
Fear the deer, baby.
Fear the deer. All you got to do is put down 100 to win 750. I like this. I would do it. I also think the Suns are going to win the series. I predict them to win in 6, but I'm not all in on the Suns like that. So because I'm not all on the Suns like that, I got to throw some money here on this bet. I think this is a really good bet. Obviously, again, this, folks, if you're going to get in on something like this, now is the time. If you don't, this will change, especially one, you won't have it anymore if the Suns don't win tonight. But even if you want odds further going on the Bucks to win the series, that's all going to change after tonight. So getting in on stuff like this, the ability to hedge, you got to get in on this stuff early. So if you don't, it's going to be gone very quickly. All right, that's it for future bets and also some game props. We talked some good ones, some interesting ones. Thank you to everybody for sending those in on the chat. We appreciate that. But we're going to wrap up tonight with Keep It 100. You know what time it is, the time where Bryan puts his hands together. Looks like he's praying for violence, and I don't know why anybody else would be praying for violence.
Lot of violence in my Keep It 100 tonight, baby. A lot of violence.
You know what? Let's get the violence out the way. Bryan, let's start with you. How are you spending your $100 tonight or betting on anything in the rest of the series? Go ahead.
UFC 264 is this weekend. Dexter.
Starting with the fights right away. Good
UFC, it's Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirier for the third time. They are 1-1. Dustin Poirier knocked him out earlier this year. I am hedging, speaking of hedging, on that one. I'm putting $5 on Poirier over McGregor in round 4 plus 1,200, and in round 3, $5 more for plus 850 Poirier over McGregor. $10 on a Poirier knockout. That right now is plus 190. That might actually improve, so I might wait on that a little bit. Back to basketball for a second. Bucks 2-1 over the Suns by game 3 plus 375. We just talked about that, and the one we just talked about. I'm putting $10 on that also. So $10 on the Bucks one and $10 on the Suns to win game 2, but the Bucks to win the series plus 750. Okay, down to $60 left. Boxing. WBC Interim Lightweight Championship matchup. Javier Fortuna is facing Jojo Diaz, and I have Javier winning by an upset in less than 10 rounds. The over-under for rounds is 10.5. Less than 10 rounds plus 225. We'll put $10 on that. I don't have a $1 bet today because I'm so confident that this is going to happen. The kerfuffle that we're all waiting for the NBA Finals. Bobby Portis versus Jae Crowder, the blue corner, the red corner in this octagon. $50 that we get it in this series. 50.
Wow.
Any point of this series. Could be game, game 2, game 3, whatever. $50. I'm so confident that this is going to happen. Oh my God. I've never been more confident on a bet this year, except for that time that I said Bobby Portis last week would get the over for points, rebounds, and he smashed the shit out of that. All right, he smashed the shit out of that. Look at this smiley face.
I mean, the truth here is you believe in Bobby Portis like nobody believes in Bobby Portis.
His over-under tonight is 6.
Family.
I don't even know Bobby Portis' mama believes in him that way.
His over-under tonight is 6.5 points. Come on, FanDuel. FanDuel. Come on, man. We on this, come on. I was on a FanDuel stream a couple weeks ago.
How many points Bobby have in game 1?
I think 6 or 5.
Right.
Something like that. They didn't play him that. Look. Budenholzer.
Well, there you go. That's a wild card. You don't know.
Yeah.
But in fair, let me say this though. I was looking through that box score though. Once you get past Middleton and Giannis and Brook Lopez was good. 17 points, 22 minutes though. He didn't play much in the second half. Once you get past that,
yeah, they were suspect.
Not a lot of depth there. All right, Murph, how you spending your $100 tonight?
All right, I'm gonna do 5 $20 bets in honor of Bryan. I'm gonna start with. I gotta go with the put 20 on the over. For Portis, 6 points. That's disrespectful. Don't let him come in your crib with those eyes and smack you up. Right? You know what I'm saying? That's totally disrespectful.
He said it's disrespectful.
I'm going to put 20 on Milwaukee to cover the plus 4.5. I'm going to put 20 on that Milwaukee bet to win the next 2 games at plus 350. I like that. Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to put 20 on the Mets to win the National League plus 550.
I like it.
I would go, it's like 1,100 to win the World Series, but you know how the Mets do. They gonna win.
Yeah.
Too much. Okay. I like that future bet thrown there. Jarod, before I get to you, I have to assume, are you part of your Keep 100? Any money going down on the Euro final?
You know that's happening.
Okay, I have one on that too. I would just have to check before you go ahead. How are you keeping it 100?
All right, I'm gonna go 25 on Middleton 30 plus, right? Because that's that plus 210.
Yep.
I'm gonna go 25 on that bet. We talked about Suns winning game 2, but the Bucks coming back at plus 750 just to hedge because I have my great Suns plays all season. And then I'm gonna go. They have on MGM. How do you pick the series? I said Suns and 6 to begin. It is plus 450. I want to say for Suns 4-2 and 6. So I'm like, why not double down on my Suns? And then Eurocup, my last 25. Man, it's hard, man. England versus Italy. This is colonialists versus fascists. Like what? I mean, like, what are we even doing? But shout out to my guy, Dr. Bilal, lives out in
players,
England.
right? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, not the players. Maybe we don't even know. Some of them might be. The country's history. Shout out to my guy, Dr. Bilal. He lives in England. He's like, "Come on, we gotta bring the trophy home." So I'm like, "All right, I'm rooting for your happiness. I don't really care about England, but Cristiano Ronaldo still the top goal scorer. Will win the Golden Boot." And I already put that bet in. However, Harry Kane 2 goals away from tying him, or 1 goal away, from tying him, plus 300 for him to be the top goal scorer. I'm like, well, might as well hedge there too. Harry Kane plus 300 to be top goal scorer.
Betting on Harry Kane.
Any Copa America?
Betting on. You see, I'm betting with the Colonials Harry Kane. I should have bet on Raheem Sterling, but he's plus 2,000. So
yeah, That's my guy, former Liverpool. That's my guy. Even though
that was my guy at FIFA 15.
Copa Americana, I'm gonna go Brazil once again, keeping Lionel Messi from winning any major international team country trophies.
Anything that so basically what he's betting on is anything that will further the CR7
Correct.
over Messi now.
Correct.
You see, I have to respect that. If you're gonna be a hater, just lean all the way into
Stick
it.
to the
Say
bit.
it with your money.
Stick to the bit.
I gotta respect it. If you're gonna be a hater, be a hater all the way.
Got
All right, I'm not gonna be a hater because on this show we have clowned Bobby Portis. But yeah, Murph, I'm with you. I feel kind of bad about that Bobby Portis has been disrespected here. 6.5? Come on. This man is going to bounce back and have a pretty good game off the bench. Give me 25 on Bobby Portis. Now, I do not believe in him in the way that Bryan believes in him, but I believe in him enough to throw $25 down on Bobby Portis. This is the last time you will ever hear me say that. Guarantee that. Take that.
He's a good player, man.
I will not say that again.
He's going to be between 10 and 15 points per game and between 6 to 9 rebounds per game for like 8 more years.
Yo, you sound like his agent. Sounds pretty
No,
good.
I'm saying he's a solid player. Like he's a solid player, and the Knicks devalued him, so everyone thinks he sucks because he was on a terrible Knicks team. He's a better player than that.
Okay. All right. Also, I'm going to put 25 on Khris Middleton to score 30 plus points, plus 210. I feel like they'll need enough offense from him. We'll see if he's able to get that. Also, love that I've got the Suns winning this series, so I'm going to take this. I'm going to hedge with that bet. Suns to win game 2. Bucks to win the series, plus 750. Give me 25 on that. And then I'm going to put 25 on England to win the Eurocup in regulation. Not great odds, but plus 163, because I didn't really like the odds for them winning outright, which means a lot of people think that this might go to a shootout, which we've had a lot of these in the Euros. But no, I think England gets this done in regulation. I think they stop Italy, and odds are plus 163. Got to take it. So we'll see. Looks like your boy CR7 is likely to still get the golden boot. Ugh.
Yes, right. Top goal scorer, baby.
Yeah, I'm not going to – I mean, I'll say this. As much as I like to see Messi win a major cup, I don't think Argentina's beating Brazil. I don't think that's going to happen.
Once again, keeping the great Lionel Messi, the greatest player in the world, from winning another international trophy.
Yo,
so sad.
Not for nothing, but it's crazy that these two dudes are still like, because I remember being in high school and this was the debate. You know, it was like I've told you about Chris Paul, Darren Williams. This was around the same time, except this shit is still going on because they're both still playing at the level they're at.
It's incredible, and you know, arguably the five among the 5 greatest players of all time, 2 of them exist in this current generation, right? Which is crazy. Look at the same thing with tennis, right? 3 of the greatest players of all time exist in the same exact generation. That's bananas, right? Yep. Like it's just wild, man.
Some would say basketball too, but I am going to leave that there for Jarod to take over.
Wait, what?
I love
basketball also.
I love where your head is at.
I don't know if I would.
Now see again, it's about what we're talking about. Bryan did not say the best careers. No, he didn't say that, right? Because you couldn't. No, because it ain't the best careers. But in terms of pound for pound talent, like yes, one of them is. In terms of pound for pound talent, you might be right. You might be right.
Here we go. We have gotten the KD train started.
Listen, once again, I asked you, Dexter, not career-wise.
No. I'm not disagreeing.
Not career accomplishments.
Right.
In terms of just, I'm going to the park and I'm picking the 5 best dudes. Talent. How many dudes are you picking above KD strictly on talent?
Not many.
I heard in the 80s he would have just been Vinnie Johnson.
Listen, man, we not gonna do that, Murph. No. We're not slandering KD on this pod, man.
We're not gonna do this here. We'll do this somewhere else. But I am thinking about, like,
I'm just joking. I don't want KD coming for me.
I am thinking of how many like players I would take ahead of him in the park, and I'm telling you,
it's not a lot. Will
I be able to count them all on my one hand?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
It's not a lot. I'm telling you. Yeah. Can you pick guys with better careers? Of course you can pick guys with better careers, but strictly straight up,
But
Who's stopping that dude?
in their primes?
In their primes.
Oh,
Everyone in their primes.
I got 5. I got 5 ahead of you.
Yeah, because you're gonna pick somebody whack like Larry Bird or some shit.
Save it.
Goddamn killer, man.
Save it.
Bird told KD exactly where he's shooting from.
I'm gonna say it right here, man. Fuck Larry Bird. And Isaiah Thomas was right. I'm gonna say it. Yeah, that's right. I said it. I said it.
Some people might pick Isaiah.
I said it.
Yo, this is the show where people pick and go hard for who they love. Bryan's going hard for Bobby Portis, and Jarod is going hard.
I'm definitely taking Magic, though. I'm sorry.
Listen, Magic who can't shoot? Okay.
Has to be kidding me.
Cool. Magic who can't shoot.
He learned. I'm talking about his prime. He shot enough. He scored.
Magic who can't shoot. All right, cool.
Can't shoot.
You good with that.
Okay.
You good with that.
He's not Jason Kidd now.
Yo, this has to be saved for another platform. This has to be talked about. Thank everybody for rocking with us tonight on this episode of NBA Picks and Props. Possibly we'll be back next week if the Suns don't sweep. Maybe we will, maybe we will not. But either way, we want to thank everybody for rocking with us this season. Hopefully we do see you back next week, which will be definitely the final one. But if not, thank y'all for rocking with us this season. You can still pay attention to a lot of basketball. I'm betting a lot of basketball in the offseason. You got Summer League. You got the Olympics. There's tons of stuff. Brian's always connected, so there's tons of ways to bet. But if not, definitely next season we'll be back.
If you're betting on Summer League, you might need to call that 1-800.
That I would.
You might need to.
If you are betting on that, it might be some problems. So, for Jarod Hector, Jamal Murphy, Bryan Fonseca, until next time, I always say peace, but just keep the energy with the motto on the shirt. Remember, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Just don't take that to the street and be involved in some street harassment. That's not the way to be. So until next time, y'all, peace.
Peace.